Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit LIONS fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, especially to what's happening in the NFC North, you know that the Detroit Lions are not just content with being a playoff team anymore. No, this franchise has seriously set its sights on the ultimate prize, the Super Bowl, and every move they make seems geared toward building a champion. And one of the latest rumors, which could turn into a game-changer, involves a potential trade target that might surprise a lot of fans: the Pittsburgh Steelers' star defensive tackle, Cameron Heyward. Yes, you heard that right. Cameron Heyward, a veteran who has been a cornerstone of the Steelers' defense for years, might soon be wearing the Honolulu blue and silver. Now, this isn't just rumor mill chatter. It's a prediction that's gaining traction among NFL insiders and analysts who closely follow team dynamics and roster moves. The interesting thing is the context behind this potential move, which is rooted in some serious contractual tensions between Heyward and the Steelers, combined with the team's strategic considerations for the upcoming season. You see, Heyward, despite being a veteran at 35 years old, remains one of the most disruptive forces on the defensive line in the league. Last season, he amassed 71 total tackles and registered a solid 8 sacks. That's production that many younger players would envy, and it highlights why he's still considered a top-tier defensive tackle. But here's the catch: his contract situation is creating some turbulence. He's currently under a deal that pays him $75 million this year, which, for a player of his caliber, is arguably below market value considering his recent production and his status as a 7-time Pro Bowler and 4-time first-team All-Pro. Now, Heyward has 2 years remaining on his contract, but negotiations for a new deal have reportedly hit a snag. He's seeking an adjustment that better reflects his value in today's NFL, especially with the rising market for defensive tackles. The problem is, the Steelers may be hesitant to commit to a long-term extension at his age, especially considering their salary cap and roster rebuild plans. As things stand, Heyward is the 36th highest-paid defensive lineman in the league and the 18th highest-paid defensive tackle, which, for someone with his resume, might seem undervalued. If the two sides can't come to an agreement, it might push the Steelers to consider other options. And that's where things get interesting for us Lions fans. See, if negotiations break down, the Steelers might have no choice but to explore the trade market. They could look to move Heyward before the season starts to recoup some value, especially since he's still making an impact on the field. He might not ask for a trade outright. He's been with Pittsburgh his entire career and has a lot of loyalty, but the team could very well gauge what kind of offers are out there. And trust me, there would be multiple teams interested in acquiring a player of his caliber. Now, let's talk about why this could be perfect for Detroit. The Lions have been building their defense, focusing heavily on the trenches, and adding someone like Heyward could be the final piece in their puzzle. Detroit's defense has improved significantly in recent years, especially with Aiden Hutchinson emerging as a dominant force. But bringing in Heyward would elevate that unit to another level. Imagine having 2 dominant defensive tackles, both capable of commanding double teams, freeing up other pass rushers, and disrupting opposing backfields constantly. Opposing offenses would have a nightmare trying to block both Hutchinson and Heyward, and that kind of pressure can really change games. Plus, Detroit's roster construction has been very much about winning now. They've made moves to maximize their window, acquiring players who can contribute immediately and push for a championship. Heyward fits that mold perfectly. He's a player who can bring leadership, intensity, and experience, all crucial ingredients in a deep playoff run. And from a strategic standpoint, adding a player like him signals that Detroit is serious about competing at the highest level. They want to be a team that's not just happy making the playoffs, but actually contending for the Lombardi Trophy. Another aspect to consider is the impact on Detroit's defensive strategy. If Heyward joins the Lions, He can help open things up for Hutchinson and other pass rushers. Opposing offenses would find it almost impossible to double-team everyone, giving Detroit's defense a level of versatility and unpredictability that can be a nightmare for quarterbacks. It's the kind of move that can turn a good defense into a great one, especially in a division like the NFC North, where rival teams are also stacking their rosters for a championship push. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking: age, contract, risk. But Hayward's recent form and leadership qualities are undeniable. He's been a model of consistency and professionalism throughout his career. And even if the Steelers are hesitant to commit long-term due to his age, Detroit's recent approach has shown they're willing to make bold moves to accelerate their championship window. They've been aggressive in free agency and trades, and bringing in a player like Hayward would be in line with that philosophy. Of course, nothing is certain yet. The Steelers may decide to hold on to him, especially if they believe he still has a lot to offer this season. If the trade talks do heat up, Detroit should be at the front of the line. They have the assets, the cap space, and the desire to make a splash. Plus, adding a player of Hayward's caliber would send a strong message across the league. Detroit is not just here to compete, they're here to win it all. This potential move also fits into the broader picture of Detroit's current roster strategy. The Lions have been focusing on building through the trenches, investing heavily in their offensive line and defensive front. They want to establish dominance at the line of scrimmage, and Hayward would be a perfect fit, bringing that extra edge, toughness, and veteran presence. His addition could also help younger players grow, providing mentorship and stability in what's shaping up to be a very competitive NFC North. And let's not forget, Detroit has been on the rise. With Jared Goff leading the offense and a solid core of young talent on both sides of the ball, they're not just aiming for a wild card spot anymore. They're aiming for the top seed. They want to host playoff games at Ford Field and make a deep run. For that, they need to ensure their defense is as formidable as their offense, and Hayward could be the missing piece that pushes them over the edge. Now, I want to emphasize that this is all speculative for now. The trade discussions haven't officially started, and the Steelers may decide to hold on to Hayward for this season. But the signs are there, and as fans, we should be paying close attention. It's rare to get a chance to land a player of his experience and talent at this stage of his career, especially when he's still performing at a high level. If the opportunity arises, Detroit needs to be ready to act quickly. And think about the narrative, too. The Lions have been building steadily, but adding a player like Hayward would be a statement move. It would show that they're all in, that they're not afraid to make bold decisions to chase that elusive Super Bowl title. It's the kind of move that can galvanize a team, energize the fan base, and send a message to the NFC: Detroit is here, and they mean business. So, as we keep an eye on the off-season developments, remember that the Detroit Lions are not just sitting back and waiting. They're in the mix, and if this trade materializes, it could be one of the defining moves of the 2025 NFL season. Whether it happens or not, it's clear that Detroit is positioning itself as a true contender, and every piece they acquire or lose will play a crucial role in their quest for glory. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think adding Cameron Hayward would be the move that elevates Detroit to Super Bowl contender status? Do you believe the Steelers are serious about trading him, or will they hold on for another run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news. This offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and we, as fans, are right in the middle of it all. So keep your eyes peeled, stay passionate, and let's see how this story unfolds. The Lions are on the rise, and with moves like these, they could be just one step away from their Super Bowl dreams. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's go Lions!